Good morning, everybody. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan. Welcome to the Biker Devotional. Today is May 14th, 2025, and we are looking at Proverbs, chapter 14. Proverbs 14 and verse 21. Proverbs 14, verse 21 says this: "The one who despises his neighbor sins. But whoever shows kindness to the poor will be happy." You know, I have read this a lot of times, and maybe I'm just the dense one here, but every time I've read it, I've thought to myself, is Solomon saying I have to overcome my sin by showing kindness to the poor? Well, the thing I know is that I can't overcome my sin. Only God does that, right? But when I was looking at this today and knowing that, when I am not good to my neighbors, it's sin, right? That's unequivocal. If I do something poorly, including just simple things like tossing the sticks out of my yard into my neighbor's yard, which, by the way, I do not do. I like my neighbors. But if I did that, that would be a sin or wrong. It would lead to conflict, would it not? Another example. Last year, one of my neighbors decided they were going to trim one of my bushes for me. And I know they thought they were being good friends, good neighbors, to trim it up, because they watched me mow. Every time I'd mow, and I'd have to duck and push things out of my way as I mowed close to this bush. What they didn't know is I purposely let it lay low so that it created a huge privacy for my backyard. Not that I do anything in the backyard that I'm worried about, but I do like that idea of separation between the front and backyard, and so I would let that lay down. In all reality, my neighbors sinned against me. They didn't ask my permission. They didn't ask me why I leave it low. They didn't ask any of that. They were just trying to be helpful, but they did something without consideration for me. How many times have I done that in situations for others, with others, even my own wife, where I have gone out and done the thing thinking I'm being helpful without taking any consideration at all to what it is that the other person might want or need or plan. I am tired of looking at an overgrown bush, the neighbor thinks, and I've watched him duck under it so many times. I'm going to help him out, and I'm going to trim it up for him. I don't know which neighbor did it, and I'm not complaining. It will grow out. But the reality is, I've done the same thing to my wife, who, by the way, is my closest neighbor. I've done it to people at church, thinking that I'm doing things to be helpful, and in reality have never taken them into consideration at all, even though I'm convincing myself I'm thinking of them first. I'm thinking I am showing kindness to the poor so I can be happy. That's not what this says. When I despise my neighbor, when I am thinking about myself first and foremost, and then I convince myself that I'm going to do it for them, I am not going to reap good benefits. But when I think of myself less, and I try to understand my neighbor, I will consider what it is that is necessary. Had my neighbor come to me, we may have had a discussion, and I may have said, it has gotten a little bit out of control. So instead of us just trimming it back. Let me help you and we'll cut the whole thing down. Because this bush is crazy enough as it is. If I were to cut it down within a year, it would be back where I wanted it and not be turning into a tree. But I don't consider that even in my own interactions with others, do I? How about you? Do you do that? Are you going and saying, I'm doing this for you? In reality, it has nothing to do with them because you never considered, you never asked them, you never had a conversation with them. You're observing from the outside and it irritates you and you're going to fix it without having a single conversation with them and what it is. In reality, you're trying to control their life. That's what Solomon is talking about in Proverbs 14:21. The one who despises his neighbor, that's sin. But whoever shows kindness to the poor will be happy. Guys, I love y'all. Hope you have a great day. God bless.